Good evening, folks. Welcome to episode 40 of the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up. The first World Cup episode of the year, our first ever Winter World Cup as well. 40 episodes has flown by like crazy. That means we're only 12 away from completing our annual podcast. Joining us today, we have a couple very special people to the show. We have Milothe1st. Milo, welcome in. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Very
coming home.
Very just feeling it. Yeah, I wanted to say in the voice of an old man, meat pies, sausage rolls. Come on, England, get a goal.
Oh my goodness. There we go. Very nice, very nice. And also joining us, we have Mr. Hoffspur. Hoff, how you doing?
Hello. Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Can't complain.
Hoff was dominating some trivia pre-stream, pre-show. Suspiciously good at trivia.
That's all I'm good. It's all I'm good for, so.
And also joining us tonight is Mr. CulturedLeftFoot. Cultured, how you doing?
I'm very good. Very good. What start to the World Cup that was. Beautiful.
It was a very good start to the World Cup for England. And with that, let's get right into our first topic. England won 6-2 against Iran earlier today. Man of the match performance from Bukayo Saka, and also a fantastic performance from Jude Bellingham. Milo, you must be ecstatic after that start to the World Cup. Give us your general thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest takeaway for me is just it's nice to start the tournament with a dominant win. We'll get into the opponent and all the rest of it, but you know, to open a World Cup group with a 6-2 victory, it's not common. There's been many other tournaments where we've opened with a very difficult game against a quote-unquote lesser opponent, right? So for me, I think, you know, that 6 goals is great. 2 conceded. I don't think they'll be too fast, honestly, given the way the game was going. If you're gonna make a couple of errors defensively, maybe this is a good game to do them in, and you can focus in a bit more after that and get that out the way. But yeah, you know, England were really good. Iran were really bad. And I am a believer in, you know, it takes 2 to tango. So it can't be just all of one or all of the other, right? It's a little of column A, a little of column B. I think England, yeah, you know, Iran does have some off the field stuff going on, as we all have read about and heard about. Whether or not that factors into the consciousness, I don't know. I mean, if you're a player playing in the World Cup, you'd think you'd be pretty focused on that and only that. But you know, obviously I can't speak for any of those players. But yeah, it was a really just dominant display. I was pleasantly surprised because leading up to the tournament, we've been pretty dreadful. So it was nice to kind of explode out the goal scoring blocks. I still suspect that Southgate will put the shackles on when we're, you know, if we get to a point where we're playing a quote unquote stronger opponent. I do think that his game plan will revert back to a more typical Southgate style. I'd be gobsmacked if he let them play with that kind of speed and stuff moving forward. I just think it was the opponent that allowed, you know, they saw it right from the get-go that the opportunity was there, and they made the most of it, and I'm really happy for Saka. Couple of goals, good on him.
Yeah, great game from Saka, winning man of the match as well. I thought the standout performance was Jude Bellingham as well. Cultured, what did you think of that England game? Was Bellingham
brilliant?
Who does Bellingham remind you of? Is there any player in particular he reminds you of?
Do you know what? He reminds me of a breakout Dele Alli, but I think he's going to be better. Like, you know, when Dele Alli burst on the scene, like from that sense, that's what I think he reminds me of. But he's clearly better than Dele Alli. But great performance, really good. Arise Sir Gareth Southgate, as I text Milo in Discord last night when we went 5-1 up. No, I think it's I think Milo's right. I think we will change our tactics when we go to a stronger team, but we're not a defensively solid team, so you have to do that against the better teams. And if we can play attacking football against, you know, the weaker teams like Iran and the USA, sorry guys, then go for it, because 6-2 goals all over the place, loads of different goal scorers. Harry Kane playing well up front and people filling in the gaps that he left, like when he drifted wide. And I think it was a good tactical display. I think we can talk about VAR if we want to, because how Iran got a penalty and Harry Maguire didn't get a penalty for a rugby tackle on him, I'm not too sure. But it was really good, a really good performance. Jude Bellingham was incredible. Like, delighted to see him play so well. And yeah, Saka probably would have got a hat-trick if he wasn't subbed off. But I think at that point, squad rotation was crucial. So
yeah, Bellingham was like everywhere. I don't know. He was just doing everything. He was getting in the box. He was dropping deep. He was playmaking. He was,
you know who he reminded me of? David Platt.
Ah, okay.
It's a bit of an older reference for some, I know, but David Platt was both ends of the field, equally good in both. So yeah, I thought it was a really great performance.
Brian Robson, maybe. Yeah,
Robbo, a bit of Robbo in there.
He'd look good in the United number 7, you know.
I mean, rumors are 130 million bid from Arsenal.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think at the end of this World Cup, you can chuck another 50 million on that.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's on the topic of VAR, Hoff, did you see the Iran penalty, the penalty that was awarded to Iran, and the tackle on Maguire? Did you see those?
I saw the tackle on Maguire, the cuddle. I didn't see the Iran penalty, but I don't know how you don't see it. Okay, whatever. There's a bunch of bodies in the box. Maybe your line of view, if you're the official, your line of sight is obscured. That's what VAR is for. Hello. I don't understand. Like, he got his arms around him. It was a full-on hug, and he just took him down. I don't know how that's not a foul.
All right, I'll represent the referees once again. You know, I think the reason why it wasn't called was because his arm was on top of him. Maguire's arm was on the back of that on player. That's the only thing I could see why they didn't give it, because there was like mutual.
My counter to that, Cart, is that the Iranian penalty was given for a shirt pull by Eric Dyer, which is the tiniest little shirt pull. And if you watch the rugby tackle on Harry Maguire, John Stones is having his shirt pulled right next to him by the Iranian defender, like proper tugged back. So there's two penalties that England could have had in that thing, but it doesn't really matter, right? 6-2. So
I missed that one. I missed the shirt pull on Stones, but yeah.
So
these decisions are interesting.
We'll probably get into this later in the show, maybe, but I do want to know your guys' thoughts on the amount of stoppage time at the end of each half.
I did.
Now, I know in the England-Iran game, obviously there was the broken nose for the keeper, right? So early on, so that is responsible for some of it, but it's out of hand. I've never seen anything like this. Is this like what they do there?
I think this is them being so strict with the rules, because the FIFA rules for a referee is 30 seconds added on per sub, 30 seconds added on per goal. So I think they're just being really strict. If both teams make 5 subs, that's 5 minutes of extra time ish. Is that right? Yeah, because 10 subs is 5 minutes, 30 seconds each. And then every goal. And if you think there was 8 goals, or second half, there was 4 goals in the second half, 5 goals, then that's another 2.5 minutes that should be added on in the second half. But it's bonkers. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So go ahead, Hoff.
I thought I had seen, I don't remember where, I think it was on one of the somewhere in the Twitterverse, there was a directive from FIFA. They wanted to like enforce the ball in play for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like really get, and I don't know why, if it's supposed to be so goddamn hot, like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is gonna be the hottest World Cup ever, even though they're playing in winter. Like, oh, we're gonna make sure the ball is in play for 90 minutes. Like, I understand wanting to do that, but I don't understand the wanting to do it in this setting.
Was that announced by Infantino or just FIFA in general?
Pierluigi Collina, head of World Refereeing, said, we want to avoid only 42, 43, 44 minutes of effective game time. That's over 90 minutes. So the time taken by subs, penalties, celebrations, treatment, or VAR will be compensated. And they're doing it in full now. So they're was it? They said 64 minutes of extra time in 4 matches so far, which is crazy for
if you're gonna
TV people. You know?
If you're gonna do this, you might as well adopt the stop the clock that you guys use, because when I say you guys, I mean American sports. Sorry to clarify, right. But you knew what I meant. But you know what I mean, like the ball is out of play or the puck is out of play, the clock stops, right? And then you could have that countdown. I don't like the idea of doing that. I like that there's some factors to it, because although we like the rules to be enforced, and I'm all for strict refereeing if it's consistent. We've talked about that endlessly with the Premier League because the refereeing is so inconsistent. But like, I'm all for that. As far as something like this goes, though, I don't really want to see. I like well, it's 3 minutes stoppage time, and you're sort of looking around, you're talking amongst yourselves, like, okay, that quite a bit happened. Maybe it'll be 5 or 6 minutes, but 14 minutes. You know, like like, what is happening?
Like the first half one, I could understand, right, with that goalkeeper. But the second half, just blow the whistle, ref. Bloody hell, it's 6-2.
6-2.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is going to happen by the time we get to North Korea 2030?
Oh god.
Well, I was thinking about it. I mean, what's the knock-on effect of this type of policy, right? And during the match, I was thinking about it, and it's like, if players know that them time wasting isn't going to make the game finish quicker, right? Maybe it will decrease the amount of time wasting in general, possibly, right? Because if they're just like, all right, you guys want to time waste, we're going to literally just tack on that amount of time. So no matter what you guys do during the game, we're not afraid to go to 20 minutes of extra time if you screw around, you know? But that creates so many issues for TV and advertisements. But then again, all these World Cups are spaced out. All the kickoffs until the final group day are all spaced out by at least an hour buffer, right? So if they really need to go an extra hour, I guess, or 30, 40 minutes, I guess they can, you know? It's pretty wild.
I think Symphony brings up a good point, though, where he says, you know, in the Premier League, you've got people that have to catch the train and stuff on the way home. And as someone that routinely had to do that when the games do go on late, it is something to be considered, because it will have an impact on people's lives in a negative way. So that's something that's got to be broached very carefully. I just think it's a little bit weird that it's like all of a sudden this is when we're going to do this.
Right? They didn't really announce it or anything. It's just boom. They're just doing it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of other things that are just kind of happening. Yeah.
I was surprised Infantino didn't say, "I am extra time." That's part of the speech.
Yeah.
So, dickhead.
Well, before we get into the other games,
so he's taken on the role of FIFA president like perfectly, hasn't he? Right now, he's like embraced it, especially even more so since the documentary.
We'll get to Infantino's comments in a little later. And I mean, there is one more thing I'd just like to talk about, just for educational purposes, about the concussion protocol. This is a concussion protocol that's been in place since August 21. So basically, the medical team, which is there's a couple problems with it, but basically each team can have 2 concussion protocol substitutions per game, right? So if a player, that's what happened to the Iranian keeper. And the interesting thing about that is the Iranian keeper had the collision. They had him sitting on the field for like whatever 10-15 minutes, and then he continued to play, and then he came off, right? And one of the criticisms of the current system is that the Iranian team, medical team, decides whether the keeper is okay or not, right? So that's one thing. It's not an independent medical doctor provided by FIFA or anything. So that's one. So the critics are saying that's one thing. The trial ends on August 31st, 2023. So they're doing it for 2 years. Basically, they just check if he's dizzy, blah blah blah, and they might even use video assistance to see if there's any other signs of loss of consciousness and stuff like that,
or if they're faking it,
or if they're faking it.
So
exactly.
This This is my big thing with it, is that if you don't have an independent medical person that's on the pitch, that he can run on with both teams, right? If there's not an independent person, how can you prove if someone's a concussion protocol sub or not? And if they're walking off like Harry Maguire or their goalkeeper,
subs potentially.
Obvious.
They're just trying to get a free sub, which could be a thing.
Yeah, you could have 7 subs.
I don't know if you guys in America, or maybe you, Milo, as well, didn't hear about it in Canada, but in English rugby about 4 years ago, there was Bloodgate, where one of the players, because you get a free blood sub in rugby. If you get a blood injury to the face, you get a free sub. And he took a red pill, bit on it, and pretended that it had blood in his mouth. They made a blood sub, and it gave them an extra attacker on the pitch for the last 5 minutes.
That's a great idea.
And it was this whole thing.
It's just cheating. That is cheating.
Well, yeah, but that could happen, couldn't it? With a concussion sub.
True.
Like,
I'm dizzy. How many fingers do you see? 12. You know what I mean? Like, it's
a million. Yeah, he's concussed.
He's got to come off, friend.
So, it's interesting. But it's also the first time I've ever seen it used for both teams in one game.
So
Can I also talk about their goalkeeper not walking off the pitch? You have a broken nose, mate. You do not need to lay on the stretcher like you've been shot.
He was concussed, man.
Oh, he was concussed, yeah.
Walk off. You just played 5 minutes. Get off.
Oh, no. So it turns out, actually, Harry Maguire did not go off because of concussion. He went off because he was feeling ill.
I mean, he did look ill. He was
feeling ill right after the goal.
That's just his face.
That's just his face. But yeah,
I want to put this out there. I do think Harry Maguire. I know when they scored, that turned round him. It was a really good goal that from Iran, by the way. Their first goal, their non-penalty goal. It was a really good goal. I think Harry Maguire did have a good game, like he does for England. I think he played very well next to John Stones at the back there. I think it was quite.
When
good.
he hit the bar, I almost messaged in your Discord about. Because I put for a joke that I thought Slabhead would be England's top scorer if Kane wasn't, because of our reliance on set pieces, and I still think that could happen, but we'll see.
Could be a good shout.
Yeah, he had an assist. Shaw also with an assist. Rashford came on, scored as the 3rd fastest goal in a World Cup from a substitute. Saka played amazing. Bellingham, I thought, was amazing. It felt like all the subs that came on for England as well, they kind of just gelled right into the squad. You know, they just continued. Yeah. Callum Wilson, great cutback, right? You would have thought maybe he would have taken the shot at that with that type of lead, but great cutback for Grealish.
I'm not gonna get too excited about that performance unless if we play the same against you and we play the same against Wales, and it's that fluid and, as you say, everyone gelling. If we make it look smooth, I'm not saying it has to be 6-2 or whatever. It could be 2-0, but like if we play like that in all 3 group games, then maybe I'll start to believe. But everything that I've seen from Southgate's team suggests to me we will have the shackles firmly locked in place by the time we get to the knockouts.
Carl, you always want different opinions. I'm like completely opposite to Milo. I'm now well excited. 6-2, England jerseys on. I was in the pub last night watching the game.
It's coming home.
Right in there. It's coming home. I'm not ready to say that yet, but
it was a great performance. It was
well
a great
up for
performance.
it. Yeah.
I thought Bellingham was he's that type of he's just that all-arounder, you know. I think who did you have last year? Henderson or no? Phillips it was Phillips in the Euro.
It was, but Phillips had a really decent couple of games early on in that tournament as well. And like the other thing for me is I think central midfielders can really stand out against a poor team because you're so influential by nature of your position. You have to be at both ends. So I am definitely being a bit pessimistic about it, but at the same time, what I saw was great. I need to believe it. I got to see it consistently.
Absolutely.
Come on, England.
Coaches secretly went out and got an England 3 lines tattoo on his palm last night.
Last thing here I have is Gareth Southgate has now won more matches at major tournaments than any other England manager. That's 9 wins. He passed Sir Alf Ramsey's total of 8 wins with that win.
Excellent. Nice.
Pretty good stuff.
little final fact: Bellingham and Saka are the second and third youngest World Cup goal scorers ever now.
Oh wow!
So,
Yeah, so,
Nice.
posted one in Milo's GTA channel about what was it? Bellingham is the first player to score in a World Cup after GTA 5 came out or something.
GTA
Oh,
Vice
wow.
City, it was, I think.
Vice
wasn't
City, Vice City.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, great start for England. Big win. Were you at all surprised that they played back four instead of
Nah.
back three?
Not against Iran. I was expecting.
Do you think
that.
Kyle Walker's absence makes that an easy decision? Or like if Kyle Walker's back,
Yeah.
they go back to a back three type of thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised against
Yeah.
potentially if we beat the USA in the second game and then we're playing Wales in the third game, he goes to a back five just to try it. Because I
Yeah.
think we'll do a back four against you guys as well. So
I see. I think I prefer us to do that because the three at the back has been where we've struggled, you know, in those games recently, pre-tournament, the Nations
Yeah.
League stuff like that. Some of our more poor performances. I feel like, you know, the four at the back just gives us a bit more stability, and it allows the midfield to do their thing a bit with a bit more. You know, with a bit more carelessness, if you like. They don't have to be as composed, because if you've got that solid foundation, I don't know. That's just the way I like to manage a team, though. So I have to. It's up to them what they do.
One more thing surrounding this game. I know it's not, and we can just kind of try to keep it focused on just this part of it. Was the armband, right? There was this thing about the armband. I think it was England, Belgium, Holland, the Swiss, Germany, Denmark, and Wales. They all released a joint statement saying they will no longer risk wearing the One Love armbands after threats of sporting sanctions for captains. They're frustrated. FIFA ignored their written request to wear it. Wearing the armband would result in a yellow card and risk of being sent off during the 90 minutes. I don't know if you guys have heard any commentary from former players and stuff like this, but Roy Keane was like, just, you know, obviously he's like, if you say you're gonna do something, you got to do it type of thing.
Yeah.
Couple other people with that sentiment. Other people saying, you know, it's easy for us to say, we're not the ones on the pitch risking a match in the World Cup for this type of thing. I mean, you know, Van Dijk is the captain for Holland, so he's a center back. That immediately puts him at a disadvantage being a center back. Maybe Harry Kane, you know, it's a little different. I don't know.
Was it only the captain that would be booked?
Yeah.
it's whoever wears the armband.
I thought it was
like
whoever wore it.
It's
So
like
the
a-
whole team.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole team was gonna wear
No,
it.
no,
Was
Captain's
that
armband.
It was the captain's armband.
Yeah.
So if Harry
okay.
Kane got booked and then went, well, I'm going to give it to someone else, that person would get booked immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
boy.
I thought it was the whole team was going to wear armbands. So this was just on the captains. Got
Just
it.
on the
Yeah,
captain,
there- so
who
the-
is normally your best player, right? So imagine them starting
Often.
on a yellow card, like
I mean,
often, yeah.
And that would be booking in game 1 and 2,
Yeah,
suspension
miss
for
game
game
three.
3, and then so on and so forth. Yeah, I mean, for me, I get all the takes on it, and I really do. But the biggest thing for me, I think, is there's one villain here, and it's FIFA. It's not the players. It's you know, it sucks, and yeah, I like to stand by things that I've said as well, and I totally can understand that point of view. But I think, you know, if you're gonna have one of your best players potentially miss half the tournament anyway, and then the stand-in might miss games, you know, you might as well not bother. And no one's going to pull out. It's too late for that, right? If they were going to pull out due to issues like that, it would have been done a long time ago. This World Cup is going ahead. We may as well be part of it. It doesn't mean we have to like everything about it,
right.
but we might as well be a part of it because we qualified to be there. And you know, they've made their feelings clear. But I think the villain is FIFA, as usual.
Yeah. The media attention that's been on this World Cup from the start or from when they got awarded it, it will go down as the worst World Cup in history. Like, hands down, it's going to go down up to this current point. We don't know what's going to happen in the future because it's been rule change at the last minute. So Cart said there, he's like, the nations that were going to wear it wrote to FIFA months ago saying this is what we're going to do. Absolutely no response. England have even released a statement say from the FA saying that they wrote to FIFA again and said, we understand could be classed as a political statement, and we're happy to accept any fine and sanction as per the rules of FIFA that are going to come our way. And then FIFA changed the rules and said it's going to be a yellow card for the player wearing it. I'm like, that's just disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. Fair play to Alex Scott. Don't know if you guys saw the BBC coverage.
Yeah.
Alex Scott put the armband on during her coverage for the BBC so that it was on TV and like basically a big FU to FIFA. But yeah, I
think
it.
Part of this is, and what makes it worse, Cultured, is Infantino is sat next to, every game he's going to be sat next to. I don't know if it's the cheek or whatever. I don't know. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's sat there, and it's just so obvious. These late decisions, and it's coming from a position of, there's no vote being taken. There's no democracy being used.
He's 200% in charge of this World Cup, according to the monologue that he gave.
Yeah.
He was sat next to.
I ranted on Twitter about it anyway. Yeah, I ranted on Twitter about
Saudi
it.
Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He's the Saudi Arabian. Quite divisive figure. He's his regime's responsible for Jamal Khashoggi's murder in 2018, and apparently he was just pardoned by the United States just recently as well. So it's a very very, very sticky situation. Him sitting, I mean, we might as well get into it. We're trying to get through some other matches first, but it's all coming up here. So so this idea of sports washing and what's going on here in Qatar, there's two aspects to this. There's two ways to look at this situation, in my opinion. Qatar is an Arab country. It's the first Arab country to host a World Cup. The Arab world has different customs and culture to the rest of the world. Is it okay to, for example, growing up, my parents were Indian. To go into our house, you had to take your shoes off at the door and then walk in the house. It feels like a similar type of thing, obviously with a crazy, way bigger scale, obviously, in the sense that it's about, this whole LGBTQ thing going on. There's undertones of this, and not bringing and respecting Qatar's view on those things, and not expecting to have quote unquote Western tradition and customs in that type of place. Just like in America, smoking marijuana was illegal in public places. Now it's legal in some places, right? So just like that, it's these flags of LGBTQ rights and things like that are being confiscated, and certain journalists aren't being allowed in to stadiums wearing certain shirts. I think Grant Wall was told he was refused to go into a stadium for USA Wales because he had to change his shirt. It was a soccer ball with a rainbow pattern around it. He was asked to remove it. Other people in response to him were saying, basically it's become this thing about what gives the West moral superiority, and who says their customs are the right way, right? So it becomes a whole political thing, right? I don't know if we want to go into this political area.
I can go on a big tirade here. So my first thing that I want to say is that I don't have an issue with Qatar culture, Arab culture. That is what they believe. That is fine. My stance is with FIFA. And even if it was awarded to Qatar, right, we know that can't be changed. Well, Infantino could have changed that when he was made president, but he didn't. And he said it's still going to go to Qatar. Fine. My issue is that there's so many double standards there. You can't buy alcohol. Fine. That's their culture, right? That is very Western culture to say you drink with football. I understand that. And you don't have to do that in the stadium. But you can buy alcohol if you've got one of the most expensive seats in the suites in the stadium. So either you can buy alcohol in the stadium or you can't unless you've got a load of money. That's not right. That's not. Just ban it in the whole stadium if you're going to do it. If that's the culture, ban it in all the stadium. Budweiser will have to deal with it as the official sponsor.
Well,
then you've got the rights. Sorry, I'm going to keep going.
No.
Then you've got the LGBTQ plus thing, which again, fine, that's their culture. But FIFA said everyone will be welcome. Everyone can go. We will guarantee your safety. And then the UK government had to put out an announcement that said, if you are part of the LGBTQ plus community, we cannot guarantee your safety if you travel to Qatar. That is for a World Cup, for a government to have to tell their national people that we can't guarantee your safety, or the Qatari government haven't agreed to concern your safety. That is absolutely mental.
Did like the European countries tell European citizens that, or did Qatar tell European citizens
so
that?
The UK government released a statement that said they haven't had assurances from the Qatari government to say that any member of the LGBTQ plus community we can guarantee your safety. So the Qatari government have told the UK government, who have said they've got to tell their nationals.
It's a travel advisory.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You said the UK government told the UK citizens that the Qatari government has not given them assurances about their safety.
Yeah.
But now you're saying the Qatari government told the UK that we cannot. So what was it?
So the UK, right? The UK have to ask. I assume it's the same in America. So this whole thing that was happening in Sri Lanka because of the civil war, there's a travel advisory that goes out to UK nationals that says, don't travel to Sri Lanka because we can't guarantee your safety. So what's happened is that the UK have said to the Qatari government, what assurances can you give us that anyone that travels from the UK is going to be safe, respected, and looked after? And the Qatari government have said, we can do that for anyone that abides by our rules. So LGBTQ plus we cannot guarantee their safety for your nation. So the UK government will not guarantee their safety. So the UK government have to put a travel advisory out for any members that aren't heterosexual, let's say, that they shouldn't travel to Qatar for a World Cup, which FIFA says includes everyone. One love.
One of their slogans is no discrimination.
Yeah.
I mean, what a joke.
And that's why I'm not angry at Qatar, because I am angry at Qatar because if they're going to do the rules, they should blanket it everywhere. And my biggest bugbear is the alcohol one, right? If you're saying no alcohol in the stadium, that has to be the whole stadium, not no alcohol unless you're rich enough to afford it, a C-suite, and you can sit up there. But my biggest bugbear is FIFA. In all of this, it's FIFA.
Right.
I'm reluctant to go too deep on this because I don't like to. It's not that I ignore politics and how politics and religion and things like that play a massive part in these things. And I know it's a really contentious topic. I feel very passionate about football. There are a lot of people that are very passionate about their religion. There are a lot of people that are very passionate about their politics. So, with that being said, I just stick and argue and get passionate about the thing that I care about the most. And it isn't either of those two things. So whatever you think of me, regardless of that, is fine. I'm not. You're never gonna. I'm not gonna engage too heavily in it. But what I will say is this: FIFA are the villain. I said that earlier, and they're still the villain for this. But also, it shouldn't have gone to Qatar for many reasons, and this is one of the reasons on the list. So that's another thing. It's 2022, and we're all humans. There should be a way to be able to make events happen as humans. All of us are humans. We are all the same race. We're the human race. So the fact that we still can't find middle ground on certain issues to be able to host something and make it inclusive for everybody disgusts me. And it's something that I do feel strongly about, but I find it better to not talk about not because I'm ignoring it, but because I want to be happier.
Right.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
So I just looked this up. Everyone is welcome. This is from the Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. He is who is this? UN General Assembly member. He says everyone is welcome in Qatar, but we are a conservative country, and any public display of affection, regardless of orientation, is frowned upon. We simply ask for people to respect our culture. So that's what they said about homosexuality, and it's basically they're conservative. I don't know. It's okay. So I totally get your take, Milo. How it's not, it is kind of a bummer, but it's like it's so apparent. It's just being if we just look at the football only, you can't really tell that anything's wrong, which is fine.
It's kind of what I have to do if I want to enjoy it. I have to just focus on the football, and that's what I'm gonna do. Apart from this 1 minute that I branded about it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like to me, it's a little bit of both. It combines social justice and sports. It's like it's the whole thing. It's a lot. It's a big thing. Also, Belgium is being asked to remove the love. Writing from their kit as well.
It's on the inside of the neck of their shirt.
Yeah. And
it's not even visible.
I was going to say, we're going to get Hoff's thoughts on
I don't understand that one, to be honest.
On that love thing, this is what really, really bugs me about this World Cup. Every single nation who is in the World Cup has to submit their kits to FIFA for approval. So FIFA have approved that kit and now saying you're not allowed to wear it. I mean, that is just absolutely bonkers. Like
that is insane, and that's why the armband part makes, because that was submitted and they never really got back to him about it, so it was never allowed. This is different. This is approved, and now they're asking for it to be removed. Is love a public, just a written love public affection? I don't know. I guess I don't know.
It's a weird one. What is your take, Hoff? I know we've been ranting. Do you ever rant?
I do.
It sounded like you're getting a bit of paper ready there to read off a monologue.
No, I didn't. I just have my pen. So first off, Qatar sucks at sports washing. Let's call that what it is, because they're really bad at it, and getting FIFA lining their pockets however they may or may not have gotten to host the World Cup, it's not working. When you, as far as I understand it, when you submit a bid to host a World Cup, and I don't know if this is true, so if not, please let me know, but as far as I could tell from recent World Cups, especially Brazil, which I'll point out in a second, when you submit a bid to host a World Cup, you are agreeing to FIFA's rules. Like, FIFA's rules will supersede your rules for a month, basically.
Yeah.
Like when Brazil wouldn't allow alcohol in stadiums, guess what they had in stadiums when the World Cup came? They had alcohol, beer, whatever. So, and let's see.
Quick thing about Brazil. No, sorry.
Go ahead.
Quick thing about Brazil is they did the same thing. They had the same stadium ban in with the thought of there's a word for it. Barabira. It's like a Brazilian term. The baras or something. The barabiras. They wanted to avoid, basically guys that just get drunk in the stadium. They wanted to avoid the stadium becoming a hostile environment and threatening public safety. Now I don't know if they did it 3 days before, because now Budweiser has said they're going to give the winning country all the beer they prepared for selling in. That's 75 million pounds worth. And they're also expected to sue FIFA for the breach of contract.
Yeah, of course they will. Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like money isn't the problem here, right? It's. I don't think money's gonna. I think FIFA's ready to take the money hits. I'm sure Belgium has a case to sue as well. It seems like somebody is giving them money. Maybe this Bin Salman has something to do with it. Who knows? I'm not. Just assuming. Because Qatar is basically like. It's a piece of Saudi Arabia. No, where, right? Isn't it? I don't know. Okay, I shouldn't talk about things.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not a piece of Saudi Arabia.
But it's right.
Its own country.
Yeah. It's right off.
It's
of
the Middle
it,
East. Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It
it's
is
the Middle East, but
yeah,
it could be backed by a lot of Saudi money.
Well, they hate. No, all the Saudi nations hate Qatar generally.
I had a conversation with
Qatar's like
someone,
the most kind of
someone,
the most
someone that lived nearby.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, and he's it's about 100 kilometers from Dubai or something. 150 kilometers from Dubai.
Yeah, it's not far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty wild situation over there.
I just wanted to wrap up. So, like Milo said at the beginning of this, like FIFA is the villain. When random John Doe, we'll go with John Doe from France. I guess he'd be Jacques Doe. John Doe from, I don't know, California. Johannes Doe from Germany, when they criticize what is happening and the people, the amount of whataboutism is fucking infuriating to me.
Oh yeah.
Like, why can't, because, oh yeah, but my country is shitty. Believe me, I know it. As far as like,
could you just explain whataboutism
like
to the viewers?
Yeah, I'm going to. So whataboutism is like, oh, you can't say something bad about me because you did the same thing. Like, you can't point out my flaws because you have flaws, basically.
Right.
So because you exist, you can't point out that I exist, is basically the argument that I hear from, like, oh, you can't say that about my country because your country's just as bad. Yes, they are. Please call them out about it when the World Cup is here in 4 years. Please do, because we need it just as badly as you need it. There's nothing wrong with pointing out each other's flaws and talking about them. And like, how can we make it better? By just walling ourselves off from criticism. It just makes things worse, and that's how we got to where we are now.
And Infantino made it worse, right?
Yes.
By doing whataboutism for 3,000 years of European atrocities. Yeah, we understand that. Right. But we're not like, okay, some atrocities do still happen, but you're not
right.
We in Europe or the UK, I can talk for, like, you can text or message on Twitter or anything and be like, our prime minister is an absolute knobhead. Right? I hate him. I don't like this. I don't like that. And as long as you're within reason, you're not being racist, you have free speech for anything. Similar in the UK, right? US, free speech within reason of not being offensive or to, racist.
Death threats and things like that. Yeah.
Elon Musk is making sure that's allowed.
Yeah.
He's making sure.
But, we have what's it called, wage limits and stuff, that minimum wage and things like that. We have certain people have to have certain rights. You have to have people rights, you have to have workers rights, you have to have things like that. And these are what, in 2022 all countries should have these things. It's not just Europe. And that's whataboutism, when people say, oh, you can't point out that Qatar are doing negligent migrant worker like labor laws and things because 2,000 years ago you were the slave traders of the world, the UK. Well,
we've moved on.
We've moved on and we've learned our lessons and we've got that, and we're trying to help other people come to that point. And it's just I
think we can all agree, no matter where we're from, that we can all be better in some way.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. Every single person, every single nation, every single nationality, every single element of what makes us human. Like, we can all, there's something we can all improve on. And obviously, yes, some things were done a long time ago, not just by Europeans, but by all all cultures. And like, it's like you say, it's a question of moving on. I think there are things that, and this is why I don't get into it too much, because there are elements that hold nations back from that moving forward in terms of, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And unfortunately, it begins with R. I don't want to get into it too bad because I don't want to upset anyone.
I want to ask Carter a quick question.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Ask. I have some
What
things.
Do you think of? Because I know that you like to play. We've had this conversation and things before about devil. You trying to play devil's advocate, right? I know that you'd like to try and play devil's advocate.
I have a devil's advocate take queued right now.
What are your thoughts on that Infantino speech when he tried to talk about his bullying at school for being a ginger freckled kid?
Yeah,
Comparing
that was pretty
to
crazy.
someone being discriminated as a migrant worker or an LGBTQ in Qatar.
Well, okay, so I can look at it from an intention point of view.
Okay.
Right. I think what he's trying to say is, look, what's happened has happened. Well, there's two ways we can go about this. We can either be upset about it, or we can try to enjoy what we have here, which is the World Cup type of thing. And I think what he's trying to say is we've all gone through some sort of issues, and there's a time and place to address those. Obviously, I don't think they're going to get addressed from Infantino's point of view, obviously. Right? People, missing family members, they've just zero contact from the families in wherever India or wherever migrant workers are coming from, stuff like that. And things like that, yeah. I don't know if you saw the John Oliver's talk about this the other day, but he was talking about they did an interview with someone from Qatar, and he was talking about how it's like if you're a child in a house where there's domestic abuse, and you're not allowed to thump loudly around the house or something, or like you'll get scolded if you jump on the sofa or something, and then you have guests come over. And they bring their kids, and the kids are allowed to, jump on the sofa and, be loud and rowdy, and you have to sit in the basement and kind of keep to yourself type thing. This was a Qatari citizen's take on the situation that's happening with the World Cup happening there, which was kind of an interesting take on what's going on there. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really defend Infantino's take on that. It was just kind of a wild way to go about it. There's really no. He's gonna say whatever he can to. He's in a tough situation. Obviously, he's probably crooked. First of all, right? And he is going to try to make this the most special World Cup for the winner that wins it at the same time. I think he can't. It's not mutually exclusive. Like, you can't want for a good event to happen knowing that it's all money backed, right? Just because it's money backed doesn't mean you can't genuinely want to have a good tournament. Like, kind of like Milo's saying, like, the only way I can enjoy this is if I just focus on the football. So there's like a chunk of viewers that are in Milo's boat that are extremely trying to stay focused, as hard as it is, on the football, right? And I think Infantino's trying to talk to that person. But that whole quote was crazy.
He's failing because I'd punch him in the mouth if I'm by him.
Yeah,
that was a crazy
He's
quote.
definitely failing because, I mean, he sent a letter, didn't he, to all the fans and nations and stuff, being like, right, let's just focus on the football. And that's not reading your room, because everyone's like, well, we want to, but it's really difficult. So
I could understand if, like, because Hugo Lloris said something similar to that before the World Cup, because he was asked to wear that armband, and I think he said, no, I'm going there to try and win a World Cup. I'm going to focus on that. I can understand, like, one of the players or coaches, one of the staff, whatever, they're saying that, like, look, we're here to do a job. We're focused on the football. When it's the person that actually has persons that actually have power to make a change, that just boils my blood. They're like, oh, I could have changed this, but let's not worry about what I didn't do or what the executive committee didn't do. Let's focus on these guys playing football. And it's bullshit that the players are bearing, the players, coaches, teams, FAs are bearing the brunt of criticism. England, the European countries shouldn't be criticized in any way, shape, or form for not wearing those armbands.
Right.
You can say, you said you were going to, you should do it. I'm not going to send Harry Kane out there on a yellow
Right.
before the game even starts. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be on the players. It should be on the people who are actually responsible for it.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing I'll say about this is kind of Milo alluded to, you know, all of us can do better, all of us can move forward. And I think the biggest issue is what is better and what is forward, depending on your culture, right? So that's the biggest thing. You know, the guy who organized the World Cup, I forget his name. He has kind of an American accent.
Yeah.
He was talking about how after Qatar was awarded the World Cup, he went into a depression from all like the racist abuse and stuff. Because I do think you didn't see a lot of this in Russia, right? They didn't make a documentary about the awarding. I think there was possibly a little bit of, because I think 2022 was between England was up for it and Qatar was up for it, right? England lost, you know, that maybe there's a little more.
It was the US, wasn't it?
It was the US.
2018
was
2018
England was
Russia.
England.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
England, Russia, and then 2022.
There's no doubt that Russia paid. There's no doubt that the corruption was well in full flow long before the Qatar bid and the focus of that documentary. I mean, I don't think that's going to be in question. There's no doubt about it.
I think there's an element of that, though. I think there's an element that you know, personally, I'm learning a lot about the Islamic world and the Islamic belief system, right? It's not only, you know, homosexuality, right? It's public displays of affection. If you cheat on your wife, it's the same, you know, that's punishable by death. Homosexuality also punishable by death. If you take a loan or something and you don't pay it back, that's also punishable by death. There's like a lot of things in their religion that are on the same level of homosexuality that would be kind of wild to a Western perspective as well. I just think that there's a big cultural division here, and like you said, what is the best way forward for an Islamic state, you know, or like an Islamic government? And I don't know that. I really have to educate myself on Islam, because, you know, this has been like a centuries-old war, right, between, you know, the Judaism and Islam, right? It's just this whole area is just always changing borders and stuff like that. It's just like a big thing. So,
but believe me, but the only thing for me that, to your point, is Christianity is responsible for some heinous acts. Now, I don't consider myself religious, so I don't really think about it, you know, in terms of how I behave. I just try to be a good person most of the time.
Right.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So like, but Christianity is responsible for a lot of bad shit in the past, and as a religion, I'm sure there are still really bad people that are heavily involved with Christianity now, but for the most part, it's evolved with society to a point where, you know, some of the things that were from back in the days of, you know, well, you took that, so I'm going to cut your head off. Some of those things have been toned down. Let's just say severely toned down, or have moved on with society and the human race as we've evolved, where now there's technology. You know what I mean? Like, that's my only take on it is, and I'd love to sit down with someone and be like, why doesn't your culture want to come more into the modern age way of thinking? Like, what
you
is
can understand your religion and your culture can say something is wrong, but you can still live with someone else doing it.
Exactly.
That's where I think, like, the modern world wants to get everyone towards that. Yes, you don't have to agree with it, but you can't go around chopping someone's head off or, you know, persecuting people just because they've done something that doesn't conform with your view of the world.
That's what I'm saying, Tim, in the chat there, Tim. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not, you know, no one's saying that there wasn't bad things done on
we have
still probably are, but anyway, go on.
We have death penalty in America. Singapore has
death penalty in Singapore.
Singapore has death penalty
in Singapore,
right? So these are right. So these are government decisions, right? These are the rules of this country, right? This is the rules of Singapore.
But those rules have changed. Those rules have also changed.
Death penalty, the US death penalty isn't around something of your personal belief.
Yeah.
It's if you break a fundamental law of that country. You cannot get the death penalty in Singapore for being a homosexual. You can get it if you bring drugs into the country, because it says in a big visa entry that says if you bring drugs into the country, you will get the death penalty.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if in Qatar, if you're homosexual and don't say a word and just go about your business, if they would be executed. I don't think it's like that there. You know, I'm just saying.
How
like,
many thousands of people there are trapped?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I you know, if
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Just because I know we want to move on from this, but just to bring one thing to your like what you mentioned about sort of how there was no backlash, let's say, to the Russia World Cup.
Right.
I think that was because, or compared to what Qatar are getting, even though both bids were bribed and there was obviously money and things like that. I think it's because Russia was also, it had the infrastructure, it had the stadiums, it had the transport, it had that, it had some, okay, there's loads of racism in Russia around football, but it had some football heritage of Russia being at World Cups, having teams in the Champions League, having teams competing with
the
other
bid was feasible.
Yeah, thank you, Hoff. That's the way to describe it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I could see that happening.
No, the bid was, I think it's fair to say the bid was pretty crooked. I mean,
yeah.
I think
when you're up against the US, who have an amazing infrastructure to host a tournament as well, like, it's very.
Yeah,
I have a question to end. Well, I don't know if it'll end.
No, please. I like that. I like that.
Please end this. Please.
No, but how does FIFA? Because I've been trying to think about it. I don't think they do. Does FIFA survive? Or does FIFA look the same as it does right now, even if Saudi Arabia hosts a World Cup in the next, I don't know, if they win whatever they bid for
2030.
Next.
2030,
okay.
I think.
If they win the 2030 bid, does FIFA look the same as it does after that? Because I can't see a lot of country. I can see boycotts, actual legitimate boycotts happening. Because I think it would be, now if it was like, I don't know, 2050 or something, a little further removed from 2022, I think people might forget, but I don't know.
Depends, doesn't it? Depends on the bid. What does the bid look like? If it's again,
does it depend on what the bid looks like?
Well, true. Yeah. I mean, from the outside,
depends how much the bid costs.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
You know, we watched I watched more of the FIFA documentary.
I finished it. Yeah.
I mean, Sepp Blatter. If you take what he says publicly, if you analyze it, it doesn't sound that bad, right? Obviously, it sounds good. You know, he wants to expand the World Cup from South America and Europe, right? He wants it to be the world sport. Just take those two sentiments, and how else are you going to do that? You know, a type of like giving it back to the U.S. Sure, we got it in 2026. Giving it to England, is that really going to do that? No. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like,
England has one of the biggest cultural, religious splits across the world in one country.
Yeah, so but it's not gonna bring football there.
No, okay, so why not give it to somewhere like Morocco, who have been on it for
maybe
the last
Morocco
6 applications or something, which is you know, a mix of Christianity and Islam, and also brings it to Africa and Asia, that sort of joint crossover border of Africa and Asia.
I'm not saying giving it to Qatar was fair. I'm just saying if we're choosing between England and Morocco, I think Morocco would make more sense. If okay, there's one in your neck of the woods as well, in the brewing, like Cambodia, Vietnam, Singapore, something. There's a joint bid happening, right? Like something like that. Like, you know, bring football. Like I'm just thinking, for the people of Qatar, maybe the people of the surrounding Gulf area, like, I wonder what kind of impact this will have on football in that area of the world. I don't know. We don't know. But I feel like it's having a bigger impact by having a World Cup here than it would be having it in Europe or USA. USA will have a big impact as well because it's still a growing sport here. But, you know, when you just take it for those face value things, obviously there's corruption, there's money, Jack Warner, all those guys doing fantastic stuff behind the scenes.
England haven't hosted the World Cup since 1966. I think they fully deserve to host one again. As the only thing that I think should stop England being able to host is the behavior of its fans abroad, which has been questioned many times, rightly so.
Yeah.
But like, because I think about it, the other flip side of that coin is there are kids in England and France and all those countries that are so close together, driving distance, if you will, like within a day. There's a lot of kids that would love an opportunity to go to a World Cup, and I don't think it should always be somewhere where it might grow the game. But I understand what your point. I think it could grow it if the money goes to the right place. I mean, money's not a problem there. So the only thing I'll say is, if money's not an issue there, why hasn't their football program been exponentially fast-tracked into state-of-the-art, and why aren't Qatar pumping out world-class footballers every year?
No clue.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, Qatar. Okay, we can talk a little bit about Qatar, Ecuador. Back to football a little bit. Qatar looked pretty bad in that game. 2-0.
Pretty bad.
But they played. They won they beat Japan, and they beat a lot of good players or teams in the Asian qualifying. They played in Copa America. They did pretty well there. They played in Gold Cup in America. They did pretty well there. They're not a, from 12 years ago to now, they've come quite a long way. They've tried. They've really developed and stuff like that. They have like academies in Qatar. They're trying to grow it, right? They're trying to grow it. So it's not like nothing's happened, but what's the? I don't know. If you look at it from a positive standpoint, I wonder how, I hope this will do good for a lot of Middle Eastern Arab world countries to see a World Cup. So, in one of their Islamic states, Islamic governments, which will be interesting to see. Anyways, but about the game, Enter Valencia. Can we go?
Yeah,
should we go back to football? All right, Enter Valencia, 2 goals, beautiful header. When you guys saw that first offside, how many did you guys feel like it was some cricket stuff going on? I thought it was totally cricket.
Oh yeah, the VAR was held up at gunpoint, is what I thought at the first point. Like, you've got to find an offside somewhere. But it was offside. It was offside.
It was offside.
Yeah.
But Enter Valencia doing well. Scored 2 goals. He now has as many goals. Who is it? As many goals as he has more goals than
Zidane.
Has many goals than Zidane. That's right.
Wow.
There's a lot of players.
Sir George Hurst.
George Hurst as well.
Jeff Hurst, brother.
Jeff Hurst. Yeah.
George Hurst.
Jeff. Yeah. I feel like I hope Qatar do perform better in the second game, and a lot of that was first day nerves of the World Cup opener, because that goalkeeper, you alluded to it, Cart, right? They won the Asia Championship. They beat Japan in the final 3-1, and that was the only goal that goalkeeper conceded in the whole tournament. 6 consecutive clean sheets, and then he played in that game and looked like he'd never played in goal before. Like, honestly, we got a 17-year-old that plays in goal for our team in Singapore, and he looked better, than the Qatari national goalkeeper. So I'm hoping they do, because also, as a host team, your fans really shouldn't be leaving the stadium at halftime. Like, no matter the score, that looked really bad. Like,
I didn't see that. I stepped out.
It was
I heard about
dead.
that,
It was basically just the Ecuadorian fans left, but by the 20 minutes ago. Like, it was really bad to see.
Bad.
But
that is where it makes me think, the sport will struggle to grow there, despite having the World Cup.
I don't
but
know.
Ecuador played well. Well done for Enter Valencia. And then, surely we should talk about the USA game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Qatar is the first host nation to lose the opener, by the way, as well. But the USA Wales game was this morning. For me, this morning. Game of two halves.
Very much so.
Kiefer Moore subbed on for Dan James. Changed the game. A nice ball, nice counter pressing goal. We recovered the ball in the first half. Pulisic, nice ball into Tim Weah. Goal for him. That's a debut goal for Tim Weah as well. And now that's Bellingham, Bale, who later scored, Gakpo, Timothy Weah, Jack Grealish, and Saka all have scored on their debuts, by the way. which is pretty good for them. Gareth Bale with a late penalty ties it up, 82nd minute or something. I took a look at the referee for the game. His only experience in major competitions is the 2019 Gold Cup, and he is a official in the Qatari League. So he's Al Saad and those teams. So not a lot of experience. You could see that. I mean, later in the game he kind of settled down, but in the beginning of the game he was making some weird calls, kind of screwing both teams over for no real apparent reason. It was just some poor yellows and stuff like that. Gio Reyna after the game says, "I'm 100% fit. I'm good to go." He didn't play at all. I was hoping he'd play. Yeah, first half we looked good. Second half we were bad. Wales also played a lot better. Hoff, what are your general thoughts about the USA game?
So I had a friend before the World Cup. I had a friend ask me, excuse me, if I was looking forward to it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. And be nice to see the US back in the World Cup, but I'm really looking forward to not having to watch Spurs twice a week." Guess what I got to watch today? I got to watch a team play really well in one half and really terrible in another half. I can't get a break from this. But serious, Weah's goal was really nice. Tyler Adams was incredible. He was all over the place, and that kind of made me think. I can't remember if it was Milo or Cultured how midfielders can shine against kind of lesser teams. I guess, for lack of a better term.
He said that.
He said, okay. Milo said, and he looked really good. And I think for the most part, he's looked pretty good for Leeds this year too. It was nice to see him get the armband. Turner made a nice save on that point blank shot. That was really nice, actually. The finishing, really what is going to make or break this World Cup is going to be the finishing, because there were plenty of chances to win the game in the first half. Regardless of how Wales comes out in the second half, it could have been 2-3-0. But yeah, and Zimmerman, his tackle, you have to know that the striker is not gonna just, I'm gonna wait for the ball to come to me. I'm not gonna move. You have to know that he's gonna, especially someone with Bale's experience, like he's gonna move and try to get contact on that ball, because he's not in a position to shoot it if he receives it right there. He's got to create his own shot from it. So how's he gonna create a shot? He's gonna create a penalty. And it worked, and he baited Zimmerman right into that. I'm
glad you brought that up, because that was terrible defending.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with that. Trying to think who else stood out for me. Pulisic's set pieces are absolute garbage.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I can deliver a better.
They're
set
really
ball
bad. Yeah.
His first two, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's supposed to be our best player. He's not, but he's supposed to be. I thought Sargent was kind of invisible. He had that header that hit the post.
Yeah, that was an interesting call by Berhalter to play Sargent. I think in leading up to the game, Jesus Ferreira was kind of the number 9 for us. So I mean, we don't really have like a Josie Altidore,
I didn't
so
realize.
just someone that claims that spot type of thing, that number 9. And yeah, and before the tournament began, it was the center backs I had pointed out. Like we had Long and Zimmerman playing as center backs, and I thought those were our weak points. I think in the last friendly group I was watching.
How old is Zimmerman?
Yeah, I'm not sure how old he is.
Mid to late 20s, I think.
Okay.
But you
it
can
sounds
see
like an old man name, doesn't it? Sounds like it should be like late 30s, getting to the end of his career.
I'd say I know the US is quite a young team in general. It's the second youngest squad at the World Cup or something.
Yeah, pretty young.
Yeah, Ream's by far the oldest player on the team. And yet, I mean, to be completely fair, it's their first, for everyone except DeAndre Yedlin, it's their first World Cup game and I guess for Wales, they're everyone's first World Cup game. But yeah, so I think the Berhalter said that the power wasn't there in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that means in a soccer football terminology. I know that's an American sports term that coaches love to throw around. I don't know what that means as far
we were
as
lacking a GDX, basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
We were lacking that. Really, our midfield was just like so frail at the beginning of the second half. We just never got going. We're quite a small team, you know.
I think Berhalter maybe had a little bit of manager noviceness or naivety about him, maybe, because I don't think he expected Wales to bring on Kiefer Moore as soon as they did, and he didn't react quick enough. To maybe going to bringing on just a taller player to help deal with it, or something as simple as that. And I think that's what really changed it, and that's why it was a game of two halves, right? Because as soon as Kiefer Moore came on, he's terrible, but it does cause panic and issues. So,
and he didn't even need to like touch the ball. He just needs to make space for Bale.
Yeah. The game of two halves thing that you opened with that. It's perfect analogy, because I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was quite a fascinating contest, really.
It's really
because
good.
You had the US were really strong in the first half. There was a lot of shit talking in my Discord in the run up to that game, and during the game, I was definitely baiting Cash and Waleed and a few others, trying to get them going as far as the US goes. But all jokes aside, I thought the US were really good in the first half, and a strong possession game. You could see, I think you could see the kind of youthful exuberance, and I thought Wales were playing. Clearly, Wales to me were thinking, all right, we're going to conserve energy. It's hot, we're new to the World Cup. We don't want to do anything that's going to create panic. We don't want to take any major risks. So they sat back, and it just, USA just were all over them. And when it got to halftime, I got to give a little bit of credit to Wales, because yes, bringing on Kiefer Moore it worked for them, but they also, the mentality shifted. They said, we're going to keep the ball. We're not going to, we're going to slow everything down, because when they had the ball before, they were kind of, in the first half, when they did get the ball, they were snatching at it. The first touch was really bad. They weren't able to hold the ball at all. So definitely at halftime, they made some changes that allowed them to be far more effective in the second half. I still think the US were the better team over the 90 minutes and probably should have won it, like you said, in the first half. And they could have put Wales out of sight. But I've got to give a little bit of credit to Wales, really, for finding a way back into the game. And that's what you have to do in tournament football.
Yeah.
I didn't really see too much from either team to worry me. I think Weir's pace, if we play four at the back, I think Weir's pace could get in behind Maguire and Stones. But again, sorry, Hoff, go on. Sorry.
No,
go on.
I was just going to say, I would not be shocked if that's intentional to bring Aronson on late, even though I'm sure most of the English players, the Premier League players, know what he's capable of with his just relentlessness in pressing. But I think that he didn't intentionally bring on Reina because he wants to spring a surprise on England with him somehow. I don't know what that's going to be, but I agree. Weah could cause problems. I don't know if he will, but he has the potential to.
Yeah, I mean, it puts US in a tough spot. It just keeps that group wide open.
I think 4 points will be enough for second place, and it might be a goal difference situation. I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think if you score more, if we score more goals against Iran than Wales does, I think we're okay.
Yeah,
I think Wales and Iran will draw.
Oh,
and then I think you'll beat Iran on the final game.
Okay,
and you'll go through.
Secretly, culture doesn't care because England are lifting the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's all. It doesn't matter, does it? Because we're winning. So
it's just it's a big miss, man. It's a big miss. We played so well in the first half. I mean, if you told us we were gonna draw before the game, I might believe you. I'll take it, type of thing. But after seeing us play so well in the first half and then come out the second half like that, it's just such a. It just feels like such a we just let it get away type of thing. We were in total control. Sure, Wales had that focal point of Kiefer Moore up front to kind of just hoof balls up to, and occupy our center backs, who I think did very well to deal with, because they're both relative. They're not relatively massive center backs. Like Tim Ream, I thought had an amazing game. Robinson had a good game. Pulisic, yeah, like you said, set pieces he was poor. He was getting roughed up a lot. The ref didn't want to give him
his back.
Yeah, he doesn't get that production yet. But I thought our midfield was pretty good. McKinney was okay, but Musa and Adams were really nice.
I thought Musa looked pretty good. Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, we've improved so much as a nation that it's so nice to see us play some football. Like on the ground possession. It's like from 2010 2014. Like the strides we've made is so nice, and especially for me growing up, like seeing us play was just so like you just kind of back the team type of thing and just hope something happens type of thing. But now you're actually seeing patterns of play and things like that. We have these ball players that are playing in top leagues in Europe. It's really good. I think it's really good for the sport. You see these guys playing, and then when the Premier League comes back, you see them playing in the Premier League type of thing. It's really good for kids here. Like I wish I had that growing up. Like, I obviously we didn't have any football on TV, but I could just imagine people today have amazing. It's inspiring. And that's amazing for them as well. But yeah,
I had my favorite piece of trivia from today. Timmy Weah scored against Wales in the World Cup. Who was the last player to score against Wales in the World Cup?
Oh, don't tell me it's
Pele.
It was Pele.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say George Weah.
No.
That would have been great. Yeah.
That would have been cool. That would have been real cool.
Yeah.
That would have been
It was interesting chatting to my Welsh friends back in the UK. They were like, "Oh, we'll take a draw. We'll beat Iran and we'll get through." So it's like Milo's thinking of 4 points is enough. So
wait, hold on.
I don't think they'll beat Iran. So.
What was the trivia again? The last person to score against Wales in the group phase? Wait, what'd you say?
In the World Cup.
In the World
In
Cup.
the World Cup. Okay. I was pulling up notes for Netherlands. For some reason, I thought Netherlands was Wales. I was like, what the? Anyway, sorry. Sorry, Coach.
I think 4 points is often enough.
Yeah.
To get you through on goal difference. England have scraped through many a group stage with 4 points. So.
Yeah, once the game kicked off, and then I just thought about the group as like this is kind of an important game in this group, because next we play England now, and then that's gonna favorites would say we're gonna lose that game, and then you have Wales Iran, and then after seeing England Iran, you get the feeling that Wales could win that game. If all goes to I don't know, Iran could play much better this next game. So that could be a situation. But if that happens, then we're facing Iran, and Wales is facing England after 2 wins type of thing. England doesn't necessarily need any points from that last game, right?
We'll rotate.
At that point.
We'll rotate.
Wales might be able to do something there. I don't think
England.
England.
Wrench in this. What if both teams draw their next game, and then it's all down to the last games?
That'd be great. That'd be great.
That can happen too. So,
do you think there's a mentality shift in the US and the Wales camps after seeing England put 6 in a World Cup opener past anyone?
No.
You don't think the manager, like, you, because I imagine that's a draw. Imagine England and Iran draw. I think the USA or Wales would go more hell for leather in that opening game to say a draw is good, a loss doesn't really matter because 2 points, 2 teams already on 1 point, and a win puts you in cruise control of the group.
I think if you come into the World Cup in a group with England and you don't already have a game plan that you're going to stick to no matter what, knowing the personnel and knowing how they played for the entire reign of Southgate.
Oh yeah.
Then
I'm not talking about England in that game, but if England had drawn with Iran, because USA kicked off later, does it change the mentality to be like, well, we might as well go for the whole 3 point, really go for 3 points? Like Wales
Maybe.
looked like they were going for the approach of a draw is a good result. But if England had drawn with Iran, would Wales have gone, fuck it, let's go for 3 points?
If Wales don't approach the next two games with energy, they look knackered, and they haven't even started. I mean, again, I still think part of that was their game plan was to sit back. They showed in the second half they are capable of holding on to the ball a bit better. I think it could be a tough team to break down. Wales, I think that's what they're going for. Be a tough team to break down. I think that's, and I don't think that would change against England no matter what. I don't think they have the personnel to really stretch offensively anymore. I mean, Bale's a shadow of himself. Like some of his first touch, some of it was good, some of it was horrendous. It looks like a guy that hasn't played at the top level for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's, I know you were disappointed in Weston McKennie there, Cart, because I was watching your stream. I had the game on here and the stream on your stream up as well, and I was kind of gauging your reaction. But
McKennie's defensive bit was okay, I thought, but on the ball he was just a little loose. He was just a little too out of control. Dest and him, right? They were kind of our right side in the beginning. They both picked up yellow cards. I mean, whether they were yellow cards or not, I don't think so. Really, maybe McKennie's. I didn't think Dest was, but they were both just kind of loose, kind of just giving up possession cheaply. I don't know. I just felt maybe it's the hair. I don't know. Maybe it was the hair. I'm not a huge fan of the hair.
What, the French flag in his hair?
Exactly. It's just whatever.
I thought Pogba had snuck his way into your camp.
I think I'm traumatized by Pogba, man.
You are, yeah.
Anytime there's a haircut.
To Culture's point, what I do think changes in a group stage format in these tournaments is with England having won. Now, if I'm Southgate, I'm saying, right, we go for the jugular against the US, and then we can just chillax on the third game
100%.
day.
Yeah, I think
so.
Exactly.
You've got to see how that opener goes. We've been in tournaments where we've drawn or lost the opener, and it's a sweat fest till you either get through or you don't. And you get that first win. It's a big one. That's going to help that team's confidence because questions were being asked of them and the manager for the last 6 months to a year about can you actually score goals in open play? Because it doesn't look like you can.
Right.
So
yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
We can, but I hope Southgate encourages them to keep a little bit of that. And my fear is Southgate will be like, "Well, that was good, lads, but that's not quite what I had in mind."
I want to see.
You know what I mean?
Like, not if playing someone.
I
like
will
France
see because I think it's that waistcoat that does it.
Tell you what he needs. He needs a rainbow waistcoat.
He does. He wouldn't be allowed in the stadium.
Yeah, true.
You get a yellow, starting on a yellow.
Or like if the inside of the coat was like, rainbow.
Yeah, the inside of the blazer, the inliner.
Yeah, and he doesn't open it until the end of the game.
Yeah.
It's like...
Oh, man. Yeah, just one more thing about England is, we were talking a lot about how, they're leaving Maguire in. Southgate doesn't want to change, doesn't want to bring in the out-of-form players. I think the biggest change he's brought in, he's starting Saka and Bellingham. Everyone else is pretty consistent from previous major tournaments, right? I think Saka usually came on as a sub during the Euro, right? And Bellingham was on the bench for the most part in the Euro, I think. And I feel like if you disrupt that back line, it jeopardizes the midfield a little bit. It could. That's so just kind of moving pieces slowly one at one. Maybe Harry Maguire went down with an illness, and that'll give them an excuse to play Eric Dyer, I guess, or Kyle Walker when he comes back or something.
Ben White, hopefully.
Ben White.
Yeah, I'd hope Ben White. Although Ben White is a ball-playing centre back, right? He has the ability to launch some pretty impressive balls forward, and I just don't know that's not something Southgate's looking to utilise, not right now. I think Ben White would have more of a chance playing if we went 3 at the back and then wing backs. But I think going to Cart's point, I think that's what Southgate has done
well is that he's kept faith with, and rightly or wrongly, I would always be, I think, in sort of similar camp to Milo to say you want to pick the more informed players because they've got the confidence and the form, but the team he's picking and the players he's picked have never let him down in a tournament. 2 major tournaments, and we've got to a semi-final and a final. Rightly or wrongly, with however we're playing, they haven't let Southgate down.
Well, they didn't win, so they did let us down.
So you expected us to win the World Cup in Russia?
If we're going to enter a tournament, my expectation is we're going to try and win it.
Yeah, and he did try and win it, playing in a certain way that gave us the best chance.
Yeah.
So
you guys look good though. Yeah. I think it's going to be fun seeing other big nations play and seeing how they perform as well.
Can we have a poll, Cart? Will Cultured Left Foot have his face painted for next week's wrap-up show?
No.
Oh,
no chance. You remember, this is my work day. I can't be dialing into meetings beforehand.
That's fine, mate. Just be like, it's coming home if they ask.
Podcast coming on. Hang on.
Speaking of other biggish nations, Cameroon, Netherlands. I wrote boring match.
Senegal.
You thought it was boring. I thought it was right.
Sorry, not Cameroon. Senegal. Sorry. I don't know why I wrote Cameroon. I was probably reading something.
It's a shame.
I was reading something about Milothe1st, though. That's what it was.
Yeah. They really could have done with Mane.
Yeah.
Senegal, Netherlands. Boring match. Great ball from Frankie to Gakpo. Gakpo is actually Ghanaian. It means metal, by the way. He's Ghanaian ancestry. Gakpo has 33 goal involvements this season across Europe. That's the highest. And the other thing I wrote down for this match was Mendy to blame for the goals? Mendy had the second one for sure. The first one was tough, right? It was a decent ball from Frankie. I don't know if you guys had any other thoughts about the game. Kind of a classic Louis van Gaal.
Yeah, for a goalkeeper to be that far away from a punch is for that level of goalkeeper is just incredible.
He didn't even. He was so. When I started training to become a goalkeeper, and I think it was it Maldini, maybe, I don't know. There's a defender, a famous defender. It said like the ball or the man, but never both.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even get the man. He whiffed on both of them. It was bad.
Yeah.
The commentary we had here was even like, you can see, like what they said, the Gakpo was expecting to be absolutely clattered, and he just ran off and celebrated once it went in. I mean, and I think you're right, Cart. I think the second goal, Mendy, that's it's a decent save, but a terrible parry, if that makes sense. He's put it such into a dangerous area. He could have put it anywhere else, but yeah, I think that Senegal out, I think there'll be a really big confidence knock. That, along with losing Mane, I think it's too much for them.
Yeah, it was tight for a lot of the game. Was it 85th minute? Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Does Ecuador finish second in that group then?
I think they could do. I think Ecuador could beat Senegal. Yeah, because Senegal, right? It would have been Mane starting over Sarr, and then you bring Ismail Sarr on for pace towards the end of the game, and that just completely killed their game plan.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, other games coming up tomorrow. We have Argentina, Saudi Arabia, so that's gonna be fun.
It's too early for me, that one.
2 a.m. Yeah, that's in what?
About 5.5 hours away.
Yeah.
It's the only one I can watch. Come on.
And then Denmark, Tunisia, which is, I don't know if I can.
The question is, will Nicholas Bentner be there to watch Denmark?
Wearing his paddy power pants.
Yeah. I have an amazing Nicholas Bentner story, by the way, if you want it.
Go for it.
Do you guys want to hear it?
Go for it.
I was in Vegas with my wife for a couples weekend with some friends of ours, and one of the couples that were there, he manages the high rollers at I forget which. I think it was at the Cosmo at that time. He works somewhere else now, and Bentner happened to be there. Anyway, the guy saw my Arsenal tattoo, and he's like, "Oh, I know a guy that used to play for Arsenal, Nicholas Bentner. Do you know him?" I said, "Well." Of course I know him.
Lord Bentner.
Yeah, Lord Bentner. Yeah. And he says he stayed here last year and he was a right, like, diva. And I'm like, okay, like, go on. Please do. Go on. And he was, like, demanding they shut down this whole restaurant for him. And, like, all the staff in the hotel that were a part of it were like, no one knew who he was. Not a single person.
Oh, no.
And Bentner's team, they wanted him to shut this restaurant down, private gambling rooms, all this stuff. And they were all like, who is this guy? Like, no one has a clue who he is. I just thought it was hilarious that
That's
it was
amazing.
Lord Bentner doing his thing, you know?
Jesus. That just makes you like just
Brilliant
visualize
stuff.
all these other Bentner encounters in like restaurants and
Exactly.
you just think how many times has he
around the
done this? Yeah, all these
Where
places.
no one knows him. Yeah.
The memes have gone to his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else we got? What else tomorrow? Mexico, Poland, that'll be good, and then France, Australia, that'll be a good match as well. A lot of matches, obviously, this week. We don't got to go through all of them.
Yeah, we have Aussie 18s in the chat. He's excited about the game tomorrow. I did tell him, prepare to be disappointed.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
That was their first use of VAR in a World Cup final, wasn't it? Was Australia France in Russia, and it was a penalty that was given. Yeah, sorry, just that,
To the
that
Aussies?
triggered a memory.
Was it to the Aussies or the French?
It was to the French. It was a clear penalty, but they made a big fuss about VAR giving it and confirming it, and yeah.
I'm interested to see, which France show up. Will it be the France that probably will contend for the World Cup, or will it be the France that just doesn't show up? I feel like there's no middle ground with them.
They've been killed by injuries.
Yeah.
Like, they lost, I would argue,
Yeah, a
their
lot.
two best players in Nkunku and Benzema.
And Kante.
After they Kante's out.
Yeah.
Pogba.
Kamavinga's
whatever,
got a
he's
knock.
out. Yeah.
He
been-
does.
Injuries
but
have hit them hard.
all that means is they're having to move on from Benzema one tournament earlier than they saw.
Yeah.
Right.
Is Giroud's in, I assume?
Yeah, Giroud's
I
in
don't
this.
know, actually.
I assume Giroud's
I
in.
believe he is, yes.
Ollie G. Let's. Do you remember wasn't it the last World Cup where he didn't score a single goal,
Yeah,
but played in every game,
Yeah,
and he was very important to the way they played and the way they won it. To be honest, so
interesting fact for you: of the last 4 World Cup winners, they've all been knocked out in the group stages in the next World Cup.
Ooh.
So if that's going to follow suit, France aren't looking very good.
did you copy that off? Ozzy just posted a very similar stat to you in the chat.
Oh, there you go. No, I didn't.
Oh,
No.
wow.
So, there you go.
Yeah, so they
And
got
France was the first one of those. Nice.
Yeah.
Griezmann, Giroud. Those look like their striker options, and Mbappe.
Ollie
of course.
G. I mean, he scores worldies when he does score.
Yeah. Yeah. Koundé and Varane
They better
nursing
do
some
I
injuries.
think.
But yeah. Any other things about these games you guys want to talk about? Anything else controversial we could get into for less than 5 minutes?
For less than 5 minutes with us 4, I don't think so.
Exactly.
Speed run. Controversy speed run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maguire. I got Maguire and Shaw assists, by the way. Great assist from
Yeah. Oh,
Shaw.
yeah. I mean, credit
Kane
for.
got 2.
Yeah. Was it Maguire's knockdown for the header and then Saka's volley? That was the best.
Yeah,
goal
that
of
was
the
a nice
game, I
volley.
think.
That was a nice
Lovely
volley.
finish from Saka. So.
Let me see if I missed any other notes here. Oh, that's about it.
Callum Wilson.
I mean, we
Mission
could go
Equaliser.
into the Iranian national anthem.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
that's a. So yeah, they didn't sing the national anthem out of protest for what's going on in the country.
Yeah.
Something like
And it got shouted down, didn't it, in the stadium?
it was crazy. It was a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on. The guys that got to go back to Iran probably, or that live in Iran, are probably not going to be going back to Iran. Like, that's how serious it could be.
Yeah.
Because they had a meeting with the Iranian government before the tournament to talk about these types of things, whilst all these protests have been going on. And I guess there was some agreement that they would kind of go along with, they would represent Iran in that way. And I don't know, there's something could be going on. Something could be going on, and it's a little tricky. I don't think we have the fear of death for not taking a knee, right? Taking a knee like Colin Kaepernick.
I mean, it
there's
killed
no
his
death
career.
penalty. It killed his career. True. Jesus.
Yeah.
Kirosh told the fans to go home. the fans that were booing the anthem.
Did he?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he said if you're not here to support because he equates supporting not booing the anthem with supporting the team. So if you're not here to support the team, just go home.
Oh man.
Like, okay, Carlos.
The other thing I have written down here is England's 115-pound Qatar World Cup shirts made by Thai factory workers paid just £1 an hour. Is this,
I'm gonna do the whole the same thing we talked about earlier, Cart. Go into your closet if you wouldn't mind right now and find me every item of clothing. I'd like to see where each one was made, please.
Hey, okay. Let's just talk about this then. I am very aware of the hypocrisies I live with. Right, I am very aware.
That's exactly what Hoff said about earlier. Yeah, I know.
I'm very aware. Like I'm so aware that I will not virtue signal. You know, I will go to the point where I'm not gonna. You know, okay. So let's take it back to the Kurt Zuma. We got a couple minutes before trivia. The Kurt Zuma situation about kicking the cat. At the same time, you support factory farms, but you're mad about Kurt Zuma. It's like there's a disconnect in my mind. I know it's not for everybody, that type of connection, and I respect that. Yeah. But to me, it's like if you're really gonna get mad about a guy kicking a cat, you got to be mad about where your food's coming from. You know.
While I think there are stretches in some of those comparisons, not necessarily that one. I remember that all kicking off, but like I will say, it's not a good look for England for that to come out, I suppose. But I mean, it doesn't really matter about the look. It more so matters like what are you going to do about it. So,
can I just point out something as well?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
That's not England. Yes, it is England's kits, but surely that's Nike.
Oh yeah.
Getting the manufacturing,
right.
the selling
That's true.
price
So it's an American company, therefore Arsene Wenger's done it again.
Is Nike American?
Of course they are.
Nike doesn't sound American. Oh, is it also made by a Nazi?
Oregon.
Is it made by a Nazi?
No, that's Adidas and Puma.
Pumas, that's right. That's the Nazi one.
Yeah, the Dassler brothers.
I didn't know they were Nazis.
So before we get into the official trivia, I have some like general trivia, World Cup trivia. So it's multiple choice.
My questions.
Okay, if the first one is the same as yours, I'll stop after that. Okay.
Mine's a manually made quiz, so it'd be very.
Mine's not manually made.
It would mean your minds are like on the same wavelength.
That means Cartwheel's answering first on every answer.
Which of the following players did not score the first goal at the respective World Cup? Did not score.
Right, 1990. This is very close to questions I have.
Oh shit.
Right, well. No, go for it. Go on.
Francois Omam Biek in 1990, Philip Lahm in 2006, Sifiwi Shabalala in 2010, or Neymar in 2014. Who did not score the first goal of that World Cup?
Neymar.
Neymar's correct. Very nice. Point for culture there. All right, next question. Who was the first player to score a penalty in a World Cup final? Before I read the options, does anyone have a guess? Now, what we can do just for fun, after I read the options, we'll go one at a time. So but right now, you get a free shot at it, you know?
This is in a World Cup final?
In a World Cup finals. I believe it's
in the whole thing.
The way, you know,
penalty.
It's referred to abroad, you know, the finals.
Who scored? Puskas.
Oh, I was thinking
it's not Puskas. Do you want to hear the options?
Oh, I want my freebie first.
Okay, yeah, freebie.
I'm gonna say Di Stefano.
No.
And I'm gonna say Eusebio.
All right, here are the options. No, those are Mario Kempes, Andreas Brem, Johan Nieskens, or Paul Breitner.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go Mario Kempes.
Okay, that's locked in. Anyone else?
I'll go Andreas.
Okay, and?
I'll say Breitner.
The correct answer was Nieskens. Johan Nieskens. All right, here we go. Very quickly. Okay, who was the first England player to be sent off at a World Cup?
Ooh.
Before I read the options, does anyone have a guess?
Oh, well, I know one.
Yeah, right.
That can't be the first, surely.
What if he was though?
What if he was?
I don't think he was.
No, surely not.
I'm gonna go with Paul Ince.
That's what I was thinking Paul Ince, but I don't think he did.
Well,
I'll
I
post
have
the
to.
question in chat.
David Beckham.
Okay.
I'm going to go Bobby Moore.
All right, the options are David Beckham, which is incorrect.
Okay.
Alan Mullery, Norman Hunter, or Ray Wilkins?
Oh, I'm going
I almost
Norman
said
Hunter.
Ray Wilkins. I bet you it's Ray Wilkins.
I'm
The
going
correct
Norman
answer-
Hunter because he was a dirty bastard.
The correct answer was Ray Wilkins.
Fuck! I almost went with Ray Wilkins.
1986 against Morocco. 1986
Oh
against
my
Morocco.
god! For somewhere deep in my brain, it was going Ray Wilkins, Ray Wilkins. So I must have read it somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
Um.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
What was Mario Mandzukic the first to do in 2018?
Score an own goal in the final.
That's correct. That's a correct. Right off the bat, 10 points. 10 points.
Okay, so that's one of the answers.
These
for a
questions
question
are
in
too
that.
hard, by the way. Are too hard for a rapid fire quiz. Don't forget that, Culture. I hope you've.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
My rapid fires are very rapid
I'm
fire,
filling
don't worry.
filling time here with these questions, by the way. you
I
know.
got you.
Oh, by the way, I've got 20 questions in my quiz. So.
Oh shit!
That's
All right,
good,
let's
yeah,
do
yeah.
that then. Let's just go to those. Let's go to those then. Let's go to the rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
rapid fire, everyone knows how it works. I'm going to follow Milo's trend, and you're going to have to shout something before giving
Yeah.
your answer.
Something.
Nice one, Ozzy.
Yeah. So Cartwheel, as the host,
All right.
you have one of the best players, best players on the planet. You have Mbappe.
Ooh.
As what you've
Mbappe.
got to shout.
Can I say Killian?
You can say Kylian or Mbappe.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Killian.
Either
So,
name.
you know.
Either name's good.
I need that.
Milo,
Mhm.
you're going with our own boy wonder Saka.
Bakayo.
You can say Bakayo or Saka. Yeah, happy with that. And Hoff, you're going to have German wonder kid, Musiala.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
So we got,
all right.
in fact, actually, yeah, I didn't think about that. Cart, if you say Kylian, that makes it a lot easier for, I won't get mixed up between Messiah and Mbappe when
Okay,
someone says
yeah.
M.
I can say Jamal.
Can
Or
I
Jamal,
just?
yeah, yeah.
Can I warm up?
Yes.
He just has a button, actually. It's a sound for him.
Yeah.
Okay,
go.
so quick fire questions. They're broken into different categories. The first 5 questions are about goal scorers in World Cups. And
Okay.
because I know that Cart loves everything to be 2006 onwards,
Thank you.
it's only 2006 onwards we're asking questions about. Okay. in World
Thank you.
Cups.
I think
So,
some of the chat
we-
might enjoy that too.
Very quick on this one because it was alluded to in one of Cart's questions. Who opened the scoring for host Germany in the 2006 World Cup?
Saka. Mandusic.
Milo. No.
What's his name? Killian.
Kaka Mbappe.
I'll go with Klose.
No, it was in your question. It was one
Oh,
of your
what?
questions. Hoff.
Over to you.
Wait, what?
Musiala.
Who
was it?
Who opened the scoring for host Germany in the 2006 World Cup?
2006. Who? Gomez?
No, Philip Lahm.
Oh.
It was in your question.
Oh.
Which of these people did not score the goal, and Philip Lahm did score an opening goal?
Mm.
Oh.
In the
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Question 2.
Okay.
Question 2.
I got a closed chat over here. Sorry.
Fingers on
Oh,
buzzers.
yeah.
Fingers on buzzers.
Let me close
In
that.
Russia, 2018, who ended the tournament as Golden Boot winner?
Saka.
Milo.
Harry Kane. And
Correct.
someone else.
Harry Kane.
that's correct.
Harry Kane won it. Yeah.
We just
France
talked
scored
about
1
this.
goal as they crashed out of the group stage in the 2010 World Cup. Which winger scored their only goal of the tournament?
Saka.
Kill that guy.
That was Milo.
Florent Malouda.
It was Florent Malouda. Well done, Milo.
Nice one.
England topped the group in 2016 and they faced Ecuador in the knockouts. Who scored their only goal in a 1-0 win for England? 2006.
Oh,
2006.
6. Okay.
Who scored England's only goal in a
Saka.
1-0 win?
See,
Milo.
Joe Cole.
Incorrect.
that's what I was gonna guess. Whew.
You're thinking wonder goal against Sweden.
I am. Yellow shirts.
England,
Russia.
2006.
Okay, Hoff.
Jermaine Defoe.
Incorrect, but a great shout. I'm surprised Cart didn't go with that.
I'll go Kylian Mbappe. Emil Heskey.
Incorrect. David Beckham from a free kick. David Beckham. Okay, fingers on buzzers.
Right.
Which player scored the opening goal of the 2022 World Cup?
Kylian Mbappe.
I think that was Hoff.
What? Chat.
It was like a second delay.
I think Hoff.
When I said it, when I heard you.
Yeah.
Chat.
There's a major lag.
Someone
let me have a look at the chat very quickly.
Say something in chat.
All right, none of you cartwheel stands though.
Yeah,
Ozzy,
I don't have
Ozzy
cartwheel
in the chat.
stands. Okay, I don't have cartwheel
Who
stands.
said that first? Was that? Did you hear Mbappe or Musiala first, Ozzy? You're the adjudicator.
I said Kylian.
He said Hoff.
Kylian. Okay.
Ozzy says Hoff.
All
right.
He said
All
he
right.
heard Hoff first.
All right.
So Hoff.
Enter
Would you like
Valencia.
It is Enner Valencia. Well
Of
done.
course.
So,
Oh my god.
Sneaky
on
question.
to category 2, which is all about winners of the World Cup.
Okay.
First question, fingers on buzzers. Which Ballon d'Or winning captain lifted the trophy for winners Italy in 2006?
Kylian Mbappe.
Saka.
That was Cartwell. That was Cartwheelchamp.
What?
Fabio
Yeah.
Cannavaro.
Fabio Cannavaro, correct.
All right, there we go.
I tell you what, that is.
Was it?
No, that was clearly Cart.
That was
Yeah,
clear.
I heard it first.
That was
It
clear.
was close, but I heard him first.
That
Question
was
2.
clear.
Question 2 of category 2. Which country won the World Cup hosted by South Africa in 2010?
Kylian Mbappe.
Saka.
That's Cart again.
Great one.
Spain.
Spain, correct. France won the 2018 World Cup with a 4-2 win over Croatia. Can you name 2 of the French goal scorers?
Which year?
2018.
Jamal.
Hoffspur.
Mbappe and Benzema.
Incorrect.
Saka.
Milo.
You said 2014, right?
Whoa! This is
2018 World
rapid
Cup.
fire.
Oh, you've done this a million times. 2018. Against who?
Croatia.
Croatia. 2 of their goal scorers.
I've got a rush you, mate.
No,
Yeah.
go, take it away. Take it away.
Kylian Mbappe.
Cart.
Kylian Mbappe and
I couldn't think of a second.
I'll go with I'll go with
5,
Pogba.
4, 3.
Now the
Pogba is
names are
correct.
coming to me.
Oh shit!
From the edge of the box. A lovely strike from the edge of the box.
That was the
Mbappe
final.
as well? It was Mbappe and Pogba. Griezmann with a penalty, and Mandzukic scored the own goal inside the first couple of minutes.
Oh, it was Pogba.
Question 4, category 2 then. Germany won the 2014 World Cup. Who was the home nation that they annihilated in the semi-final?
Jamal.
Hofspur.
Brazil.
Yeah, correct.
Whoa.
Last question of the winners category. Who scored for Germany to give them an extra time win over Argentina in
Saka.
2014? That was Milo.
Yeah, it was.
Gomez.
Kylian.
No.
Jamal.
No,
I'm giving that to Cart. Sorry, Hoff.
No, that's got to go to Hoff. He buzzed in the first time.
Okay, Hoff.
Yeah.
Mario Götze.
Mario Götze
Mario
is
Götze.
correct.
Oh, the wrong G. I did the wrong
You
G.
got the wrong G, yeah. I was so close to
G.
giving it to you because it was
Close.
Mario Gomez or Mario
yeah.
Götze.
Yeah.
So, right, the last 10 questions are general knowledge about World Cup since 2006. So,
Already.
and the scores going into the final 10 questions: Milo on 2, Hoff on 3, Cart on 2. So all to play for.
Really?
What's the final category?
General knowledge of World Cup since 2006.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
2?
So it covers
All right.
cover everything. Yeah. Fingers on buzzers because the
Wait,
first one's
is
very
there a
easy.
question about a sex tape? Do you remember that?
No, there isn't, but there's not a question about a sex tape. Yeah, I do remember that. Right. Who did Zinedine Zidane headbutt to get sent
Kylian
off
Mbappe.
in the 2006?
Saka.
Cartwheel.
Materazzi.
Yeah, correct.
Marco Materazzi. That should be a half point each because he didn't say his first name.
I said Marco, but it was you couldn't hear it. You couldn't hear. Here we go. Here we go.
In 2014, USA finished second in their group ahead of Portugal. But which European country finished above them to top the group?
Saka. Denmark.
Incorrect.
Fuck.
Kylian Mbappe.
Cartwheel.
Oh.
England.
Incorrect.
Oh.
In 2014, USA finished second. To top the
Oh!
group.
Damn.
Hoff, you're the last man standing.
I can't remember who we played.
Countdown.
Where's
Where's
the countdown in my head?
There we go.
Yeah, you got a
Thank
10-second
you.
countdown in my head.
All right, Jamal.
Yeah.
Jeez, I can't remember.
Hoff.
Poland.
No, Germany.
Germany.
Oh.
Yeah. Which Dutch player karate kicked Xavi Alonso in the 2010
Kylian
final
Mbappe.
but didn't get sent off? Cartwheel.
Nigel de Jong.
Nigel de Jong. Correct. It's getting crunch time.
Yeah.
Who is the all-time record World Cup tournament goal scorer?
Jamal.
Hoffspur.
Miroslav Klose.
Miroslav Klose. Correct.
Closer.
Which is the only country making its debut at the 2022 World Cup?
Saka.
Milo.
Wales.
Kylian Mbappe.
Incorrect.
Jamal.
Cartwheel.
Not Wales. Qatar.
Qatar is correct. Yeah.
Oh, Qatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little trick question.
Yeah.
What was the name of the controversial ball used in South Africa 2010?
Kylian Mbappe.
Saka.
Oh my word, chat. Who got that first? Hoff and Cart, I think it's between. I
What?
have to go back to chat.
Come on,
I
chat.
can't see chat. I can't see
I can't
chat.
either. Come on, chat.
Aussie, Kesu
was
is saying
me.
cartwheel. Kesu's saying cartwheel. We're going with chat. We're going
Jubilani.
with chat. So it was the Jumbelani ball. Well done, Cart.
That's some bullshit right there.
It was tight. It was tight.
I'm going back. I'm going back to hosting the questions next week. This is some bullshit.
In the 2014 World Cup semi-finals, Argentina beat Holland on penalties. Who scored Argentina's first penalty?
Saka.
Milo.
Lionel Messi.
It was Messi.
Good guess. I was gonna. Yeah. That's such an
Who
odd
won the
one.
best player? Yeah, sorry, Carl.
Sorry.
Who won the best player award at the 2018 World Cup in Russia?
Kylian Mbappe.
Cartwheel.
Kylian Mbappe.
No, incorrect.
Fuck. Sorry. Shit. I know who it is.
Jamal.
Hofspur.
Luka Modric.
Correct. Was Hofspur. It
I was having fun, you know, with the.
Modric.
Okay. You
In
gave
the
me that one. You gave me.
2006
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, go on, Carl. Go on.
You gave me a buzz-in answer that's going to confuse me. That's two answers that have been my buzz-in answer. Just saying. Okay.
Well, but yeah, one of them was wrong. So.
One of them was wrong. One of them was wrong.
In the 2006 final between Italy and France, who was the only player to miss their penalty in the shootout?
Kylian Mbappe.
Cartwheel.
Trezeguet.
It is Trezeguet. Well done.
Wow, well done. Yeah,
Final
that's
question.
really epic right there. Good shout.
Final question. Which country was the #1 ranked country heading into the 2022 World Cup?
Kylian Mbappe.
Saka.
Jamal.
To be fair, Cart took so long saying his name. I think Milo may have won it for the entirety of the buzz. So I'm going to give it to Milo.
Really? Damn it. I was waiting to see who Cart said.
I can throw it over to Cart. I'll throw it over to Cart if you want.
I will go with. I feel like it's a trick question, but I'm going to go with France anyway.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
Jamal.
Hoffspur.
Brazil.
It is Brazil. Yeah, Brazil were the #1
Yeah.
ranked
I was going to say
team.
France. Anyways, yeah.
And that's the end of our World Cup quiz and the scores on the doors. Milo with 3 and apparently some ping difficulties.
I am.
The
Yeah,
ping
I
is infuriating.
I will be asking the questions again next week, guys. Don't worry.
I'm
Don't worry, chat. It'll return to normality.
So, with 1 point, with the win by 1 point, is Mr. Ping himself, Cartwheel Champ.
Oh, let's
Always
go.
moaning.
Let's
Always
go.
moaning.
It's rigged, man. It is rigged because whenever there's a
Handshakes.
thing between California and Singapore, like they have some special connection thing. It's bullshit.
Here's the thing. After the show, we're gonna look at the VOD from last week, and you guys, or the other, whatever it was, and I will show chat the. You'll see.
But we don't hear the
You'll see.
VOD. That's the problem.
Yeah.
What?
When we're
So
filming.
scores.
Yeah, we
scores
don't
No,
hear the VOD.
I know.
Milo
I
with
know.
3, Hoff with 6, Cart with 7.
Well done, boys.
Well done.
Well done.
Good game.
Well done,
It's,
everyone.
I tell you what, that's the first time I've, obviously played on the answering end of my own silly formula by having to yell a
Exactly.
name out. It is a lot harder than it looks.
tricky.
Right? You got to
It's-
really.
Especially when, again,
Yeah.
Cart says a different name that he's been
'Cause you-
told.
you have
Kaka
to-
Mbappe.
You have to go, okay, that's the answer, but then I
Yep.
got to say this and then that, and like it is tricky.
Yeah,
But
you
it's
just
good,
have
it's
to.
fun, man.
You just have to cue the word like saga, and
Yeah,
then
I'm
just
like,
forget about everything
saga.
else. And then forget
Yeah, I know,
about
but that got me in trouble. One time I said it and then I wasn't ready to answer.
it. Great quiz though. Great quiz.
So, Cart, just to
Yeah.
let you know, I did have a question in there that was who won the best young player of the tournament in 2018, and you would have had to have said Mbappe. So I got rid of it and replaced it with who won the player of the tournament. So, yeah.
Nice.
And he still said Mbappe anyway.
And he still said Mbappe. Yeah.
Jeez. I got some other ones we can do next week.
Nice.
Nice.
They're not rapid fire though. These are more like thinkers.
Okay.
Anything you guys want to talk about content wise? I know Milo, you're doing a Parma save, which is you signed Tony Yeboah's. What is it?
Tony Yeboah's nephew, Calvin Yeboah, he scored on his debut, and now he's out for 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury.
Oh no.
Sounds like Tony. if you ask me.
I have 6 first team injuries, including a 44-year-old Gigi Buffon with a hernia, which isn't really a surprise given his
no.
age.
Yeah.
So I played a 19-year-old that I picked up from Juventus, a goalkeeper, and he got a clean sheet on his debut. So we're
Nice.
currently 3rd in Serie B, fighting for promotion, but it's very early days. So yeah, well, I've got that going on. Days Gone continues on Saturday nights. I think I'm about 70% through Days Gone, so I'm going to be finishing that. And
Nice.
F1 Manager is still ongoing, and eFootball will be around, and sim racing and Warzone, and yeah, loads of stuff.
Yeah.
There we
there
go.
are. Too many games,
Nice,
not enough
nice.
time, as we always
Exactly,
say.
mate. Yeah.
Cultured, I know you have a Youth Academy save you began on YouTube, I believe, right?
Yeah, so I've taken on one of the hardest challenges you can do on Football Manager this year. I've been putting it off for a long time. And what it is you holiday a whole season, and then you take over one of the newly promoted clubs that you were previously unplayable in the bottom division of a country. And you can only use players that come through your youth academy and players that are already at the club by giving them new contracts. No signings, no loans, no deals like that. First season, we finished 4 points above relegation with Guiseley AFC in the National League North. And the second season has just started. So it's very difficult, but it really makes you think about all the other side of the game, like tactics and training and mentoring and development and all that. So I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, it's something different, good fun. Really enjoying it.
Yeah, it sounds tricky. Sounds like a headache at first, you know? Sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like in Football Manager, it's like you really have to have a plan. Like like as I get back into it, it's like you really have to have like a vision, you know? Like I don't know. I feel like that's the way I would do it.
I've found that with the Parma save, even, and that's just down one division from the top.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
it's required a lot of. I had to spend an entire preseason. It was a 6-hour preseason stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Because I had to go through every game to learn what each player can do. I don't know what these players in Serie B can do. You know, there's no names apart from Buffon. No one really stood out to me, so I had to learn about my squad and about my players, and now you know what I mean, and go from there. It's very, very cool.
Do you have any tips on doing that? Like how to, like when you come to a new club, like what do you do to learn your team? Is it just watch games and look
Watch
at
'em.
stats?
Yeah,
okay, just
pre-season
watch
generally.
and watch games and like just full match almost, or like just like comprehensive
No, I do
highlights.
extended highlights.
Extended
Okay.
highlights,
Ooh,
yeah.
extended highlights, because
Okay.
that
So,
shows you a lot of missed chances as well. So you
right.
can see where your defense is out of shape and things like that.
You can look at their
Right.
stats, and also I would say listen to, especially starting out a new club, listen to your assistants. They pop up with, we recommend this guy for this scenario because of this, and you could agree or disagree. And you know, I spent a lot of time flicking between I had players on the bench, and I'm like, I have no idea if he's any good. His stats don't look too bad. This guy's stats are worse. You know, this guy's stats were worse, but he played better, and that's classic Football Manager. You know,
right.
You're like on paper.
The lower you go down, I know Hoff's obviously we'll get onto his in a minute, but I think now myself, Milo, and Hoff have all got teams lower down. Palmer, I'm with Geisley, not allowed to sign people, and Hoff is with 1860 Munich. And I think at that point, there's a lot in the background of the stats you can't see that make a matter of the game, like your players' consistencies, how determined they are in terms of the match and professionalism and stuff like that. And I think I would recommend it, Cart. Maybe don't start as low down as Netherlands under 21s manager.
Well, I've got Philadelphia Union right now. Philadelphia Union. You know, it's
and MLS comes with its own complications, right?
That was another complication thing because there's like 4 drafts, and then all this. It's just like, what the hell is going on? You know.
If you want a real challenge, I can recommend the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, I think I've taken over for Casey Keller, I think, or something. I don't know.
Nice.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it's just so hard to get a grasp of what's going on without having like I don't know. It's got to watch the games, I guess. Just watch games. And it's got to. You know, I guess I'm used to like eFootball, like 1v1 craziness. You know, like intense.
Yeah.
Football Manager's way more kickback and just relaxed. It's just like a little more like.
I think a bit of advice I'd have is like what Milo said. Listen to your assistant. Judge your own players by what you think. Listen to your assistant to start with, and then just fast forward to your first preseason game, basically. Like click and continue, get a bit of news, and then watch that game with a few more highlights and see what everyone does on the pitch.
I've kept 2-star youth squad players in my first team, and they're doing just fine. I mean, I've won. I think I've won 6 of 8 to start my Serie B season. And I've got a couple of youngsters in there that probably have no business being in that first team, but they played well in pre-season, and I'm sticking with them.
Sounds very similar to your Arsenal save, though, doesn't it? You started really well there.
I know, my Arsenal save, we've dropped down to, I think we're in 5th right now. Wolves are flying in that save. Yeah. Absolutely.
They programmed something with Wolves in the first.
I think it's Raul Jimenez. I think he's got like key stats. He's a bit like Haaland, right? He's got the height, he's got the head, and he's got some pace. And I think all that combined means he's
and Huff, you're doing an 1860 Munich save.
I'm doing 1860 Munich on stream, and I have my own ridiculous house rules, I guess. I've got my own wage cap that goes up as if and when I get promoted. I can only have like X amount of foreign players. I can actually, Cultured suggested this one. I can only sign players that my scouts give an A or better rating to. That one's hard. That one's real, because there's a lot of free players that are like B+. I'm like, no. But yeah, I'm doing 1860 on stream, and I actually just put my first video for my YouTube series out tonight.
Nice.
Doing the special one challenge. I just made it up. I'm sure someone else has done it. Call it something else, but basically I need to win 16 trophies in 20 years, a la Jose Mourinho. I have to win the same trophies that he's won, except the League Cup. I didn't count that. I just counted the major domestic cups, the Portuguese league titles, Serie A, Champions League, Conference League, Europa League, all that stuff. So in total, he's won 16 cups that aren't the League Cup in 20 years. So, and I think the hardest part is I can't stay at any one club for more than 3 years at a time.
Okay.
Proper Jose Mourinho stuff.
Yep. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I was going to say you could do a V2 of this later or next year. Where you do like you only go to the clubs he went to for the same amount of time he went to them.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
see if you can have success. Yeah,
that would be hard as hell. But I guess he had 2 stints at Chelsea to do it, but for the Premier League, anyways. But yeah, that would be interesting for sure.
That would be good though, right? It'd be a pretty cool career too. I mean, he's been in some great clubs.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I don't think there's anything left to do other than on Friday we're gonna have USA England.
guys, we're gonna have to talk amongst ourselves as to how we're going to approach next week's wrap-up show, because there's going to be a gajillion games to go over.
Yeah, there is going to be.
So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to tackle that. Maybe we could talk about that in the Discord.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, okay.
We need a plan. We need a plan for that.
We'll have to plan for this one. Anyways, Milo, you want to take us out with a dad joke?
I got you. And this one is for everyone who enjoyed the football today. If you're American when you go in the bathroom and American when you come out, what are you in the bathroom? European.
Unbelievable. Classic.
Unreal.
Guys, thank you all for joining.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
I've always heard it as your
What's up,
Russian
Maroon? What's up,
going to the
Diogo?
bathroom.
Nina Moore.
You're Russian, yeah.
Maroon's got me, man. Maroon, you know it, right? He says that's genius, actually.
Ooh,
Maroon
Group
is
B.
my head cheerleader.
Group B rankings 1 through 4. I'm gonna go England, USA, Wales, Iran. I have to.
Yeah, same.
I'll go with that.
I think you'll sneak through ahead of Wales.
It's the Monday weekend wrap up.
Yeah. And I'll get some chat going around probably after the World Cup around the network game as well.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that.
Just maybe pre-show or post-show or something. Because I don't need to be online.
I still don't know my
work
plans
while
for the
it's running.
first week of December. I don't know how long.
Yes,
I'll be
right.
out for. But now the World
we'll
Cup's
aim
here. Now
for
all my
January.
plans are all changing because I forgot the World Cup is here. So like I really don't want to miss because I think it's quarterfinals or something, or round of 16, first week of December or something.
It's round of 16 in the
like
first
both.
weekend of December, and then quarterfinals on the 10th.
Yeah.
10th and
So I really don't.
me.
I'd rather not go to Mexico, to be honest. Oh, if I can't watch the games there, if I can't watch the games there.
They'll have Mexico. They love football. They'll be on. Would it be a resort style situation?
It's gonna be. I think it's a Airbnb resort at a resort or something.
There'll be a sports bar or a bar that will show it 100%, and it'll probably be a great time.
I don't know. Baja California is it's just like an extension of California a little bit. It's not like.
Yeah, but holiday mode is different, isn't it? Vacation mode is different. It's got a certain something else.
I gotta keep my priorities in line, you know. Football first, fun second, you know, or like vacation. We'll see.
You sound like Infantino. Just focus on the football.
What a crazy.
That's where he's going. Really, he's gonna go, and you'll be seeing cars sat next to Infantino at one of those
Isn't it
games.
wild that he lives in Doha